As a product marketer, one of the most important parts of the job is being able to extract valuable information from customer interviews. And to be able to extract valuable information, common sales tactics are actually amazingly effective and applicable. But for PMMs without a sales background, some of these concepts can be foreign or hard to master. For this video, I'm not going to go over the full framework on how to structure a customer interview. If you want that information, there's guys on LinkedIn like Joshua who post content on this. So for this video, I just want to focus on 3 subtle interview tactics to help keep your customer conversations focused and on track to help uncover those golden nuggets of information. For the first tactic, by mirroring, I don't entirely mean replicating body posture or lingo to help establish trust. While you should be doing those things, I'm more talking about conversational mirroring. And what I mean by that is repeating the last 2 or 3 words of what your customer had said and posing it back as a question. So, for instance, let's say your customer says, "And honestly, I find your software frustrating." Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," your response should be, "Our software is frustrating," and pose it back as a question. And what you're doing here is you're forcing the customer to open up and expand upon their thought. By them hearing their own words said back to them, it subconsciously puts them at ease, and they're much more likely to be open than if you asked a direct question. So your job in these interviews is to get the customer to expand upon their thought as much as possible so you can gather that information and use it in the future. And a lot of people in this scenario would advocate for questions such as, can you expand upon that? Or tell me more. And while those can be helpful questions, these questions still come across as direct and don't yield the same kind of in-depth response you're going to get by mirroring. So here's an example of what to do and what not to do. And honestly, I just find your software to be too much of a hassle. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. That's really good feedback. And honestly, I just find your software to be too much of a hassle. Too much of a hassle? Yeah, for instance, if you're trying to pull data up, one of your jobs in the interview is to build trust with the customer. That's what's going to get them to tell you everything you want to know. And the best way to do that is to make them feel heard and understood. So, how do you achieve this? Well, one way is recapping what they have reported to you so far and posing back as a question to see if you got it right. So, an example of this is, so based on what I've heard so far, you love feature X, you like the data capabilities of Y, but the function of Z is not what you were looking for. Is that an accurate assessment? Now, if you've taken great notes and listened so far, the customer should give you an ecstatic, "That's exactly right." And that feeling of validation from the customer that someone understands them and it's going to get them to open up to you even more. And those are my thoughts on your product. Got it. Thanks for being in depth on that. I appreciate it. And those are my thoughts on your product. So let me make sure I got this right. You love how intuitive our software is. You like how it solves problem X. But the price is precluding you from being able to convince your boss to purchase. Is that an accurate statement? So, 2 of the hardest to interview customers are ramblers, people that go on and are hard to keep on track, and the super angry customers. And strangely enough, from my sales experience, the best way to deal with these 2 types of customers is the power of awkward silence. Intentional silence exudes a sense of confidence. It establishes that you're controlling the conversation, and it acts as a deterrent from veering off the conversation. So, how do you use it? For the rambler, the best way to use it is to say the customer's name. So, go Jack, kind of forcefully as the customer is still talking. Once the customer stops and goes, "Yeah," pause for about 4 or 5 seconds. Then say very slowly, "That would be a great topic for another day. But for this meeting, I'm looking for feedback on X, Y, Z." Now, it will feel extremely uncomfortable, but that's what you want. And by pausing and talking slowly afterwards, it leads a cue that you are controlling the topic and the pace of the conversation. Now, for the beyond angry customer, you can't control. Let them have it out, whatever they want to say. When they're done, stay completely silent, literally until they say, "So," to fill the awkward air. The silence is going to give the customer a chance to calm down, and the awkwardness is going to make them forget about what they're angry about. All they're going to know is that they just don't want to feel this uncomfortability again. What it also does, it establishes that you're not a punching bag. You're here for a conversation, and abuse won't be tolerated. So once you do talk, go back to the recap method to establish trust again. Speak slowly, recap their frustrations, and ask if you got it right. And I just don't see why the website has to be blue. I like purple. Why can't it be purple? My grandmother likes purple. Do you like purple? Purple is my favorite color. Uh-huh. Yep. Right. Yeah, that's good feedback. And I just don't see why the website has to be blue. Excuse me, Tim? I want to talk about X, Y, and Z. Can we proceed with that? And your product is terrible. Your customer service rep was so rude when I asked for help. Just overall awful experience. I am just so sorry, sir. I apologize. And just another thing. I just can't believe how rude when I asked for help. Just overall awful experience. So, Tim, let me make sure I got this right. You don't like X, Y, and Z, but you love the functionality of Y. But overall, at the end of the day, you were disappointed the customer service rep treated you poorly. Is that an accurate statement? Absolutely. That is right. That's all. Thank you for watching. Let me know if that was helpful and if you want to see similar pieces of content. Bye for now.